There we are.
Are we on now?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey everybody. Welcome to the Jimmy Doan Show. This is the Jimmy Doan Show. We do this twice a week, 4 o'clock Wednesdays and Sundays.
Unless we're late.
Unless we're late, but it's not our fault, man. Technical Facebook stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. It is. So also, we post an audio version of this up on iTunes right after I get done with this, so you can, actually it'll be there tonight. So if you prefer to listen to us on audio through iTunes, you can do that. And so,
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
and there's that. Also, I post a time-stamped copy up on YouTube right at the end of the show, about an hour afterwards, so you can find us there. It's easy to peruse through the subjects, so join us anywhere. We're also available on a whole bunch of other places like Libsyn and Luminosity or Luminary or something like that. And
We on Stitcher yet?
I don't know about that.
I don't
Not
know
that.
about
That's
anyway.
it. So, anyway,
Here
what's
we are.
happening?
All right, well, here we are, and you can't even notice it. One of the problems we've got, of course, is with our green screen in the back here.
There's no green screen.
No,
What are you
yeah,
talking
no,
about?
that's right. We're actually in Washington anyway. So I'm wearing this very pale green shirt. Otherwise, I would look like I'm coming out of something. Conveniently, right.
wearing green.
Well, as close as I could get. You know, that was what I can say. A couple of little notes before we get started.
Okay.
Just so we'll know, the one thing I did, this is to bring up a little bit on West Wing.
Okay. Oh shit.
What? What's the matter?
Nothing.
West Wing, it is like they wrote it yesterday. Season 6, episode 5 on peak oil, which is interesting because one of the things that is, I guess it was maybe 20 years ago, there was a guy named Hubbard or somebody like that wrote a book on how we're going to run out of oil in 20 years. And so they're talking, this is in 1995, and they're talking about us running out of oil in, not now, but like 10 years from now in this show. In other words, we're taking it at gospel truth, which of course, as we know, since the show aired, we've got shale technology and the largest whatever it is. So anyway, they go on a lot about that stuff. Then on episode 15, season 5, school vouchers, which was big deal. I mean, really big. And they had it on. They had both sides of the thing. It was just amazing. Episode 17, season 6, which I'm on now, season 6. They had Supreme Court. One of the justices died. So they had to go about choosing a Supreme, and I'll tell you, it was quite interesting to see, contrary to what we just went through. And it's just one of those things that when you see the differences, that particular one couldn't have been written today because of the acrimony that it was in this one. But when they were talking about it, they were saying, well, we're going to have an easy blah, 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 whatever. But they had not foreseen what we just went through with Kavanaugh. Mm-hmm. And then on season 6, episode 21 and 22 was all about Gaza. And it's just fascinating to see what the warmongers were all about. I mean, when what happened was there was I'm not going to give it all away, but what happened was there was some kind of a bullet fight, some fighting, and right away the warmongers here in the United States and some people in the White House in the show this was written in 94, literally wanted to bomb the crap out of everybody. I mean, they ramped them up. They had the carrier force. We're going to show them who's this. And there was a little bit of argument about, well, once we started on that road, maybe not. And so anyway, well, it was
a little bit is all there ever is.
Well, the point is that this was over two episodes, and if you watch it, you can see. I mean, nothing's changed that much. They supposedly got a peace deal, but they didn't really. So we'll see. Anyway, I wanted to. So for those of you who have Netflix, you can stream the whole thing, all 7 seasons or whatever it is.
This show brought to you by West Wing.
That's right, by West Wing. Well, no, actually, the show is now being also brought to you. Another note, little light note here, by Publishers Clearinghouse. Now, for those of you who have not received your daily package from Publishers Pitching House, and I say package, I don't know what it costs them to send this stuff out, but I made the mistake of about a month ago, I think, I sent in one of the things that said, check this box, and you might win.
Oh,
I'm telling you, big problem.
Might order 100 new packages.
No, I'm telling you. So it said, send this thing in, check this box and you'll be in line for $5,000 a day for the rest of your life, whatever it was, a week, or whatever it was. So then I got another one about a week. A week later, I got another one that was, well, now you really have to do it.
Right. You may have already won.
You may have already won. You may have already won. But this will ensure that you can win a more targeted that you can win this. Anyway, since then I've received. So I think I sent that one in too because it didn't require any money, or there was some other stuff that about the fourth one I got from them, they actually wanted something, not money, but they wanted me to give up some information that I'm not willing to do.
Yeah.
And so I didn't send that one in. However, that did not stop them.
So we're not going to win?
Yeah, well, apparently not. Because even one of them, they said you're in, but then I think maybe they took it back. I don't know. The point being that I don't know what the postage cost, but literally this one I got 2-3 days ago, it was, watch this folks, it was this thick. It must have cost them $2 to send it to me. And I'm thinking, how many other people got this? I mean, 1 million?
Direct mail is the most expensive kind of advertising that you can do.
Yeah.
But it's also the most effective for the most part. Yeah.
I didn't know.
That's why you still get samples from Procter & Gamble.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's amazing but true.
Well,
they can hook you with a little bit.
Oh, yeah. No, they do. And it's just... It is fascinating. I was just blown away by the amount of money they're spending on me when I'm just not going there anymore. And of course, the other thing is we have an election here on Tuesday. So our mailbox has been flooded, even though there's only like 2 people running.
Right.
I mean, like every day you get these big... That costs them a fortune. Okay. Moving.
All right.
Well, okay, what I'm not going to talk about today, I don't think... I'll talk a little bit about it, but it's about the New Zealand thing.
Not at all?
Well, no. I've got a little bit here towards the end.
Towards the end?
Well,
do you fire up the transporter now or no?
No, that's after a couple of pages here.
Okay, all right. We'll start on something then.
If you want to, I can do it.
I don't care. Just pick something.
Okay, this is the school scandal.
Okay.
The school scandal. This is the 2 big names, of course, were Lori Loughlin and I forget who the other one was. And she's
Felicity Huffman.
Felicity Huffman, right? And she's Lori's been dropped from Netflix's Fuller House after Hallmark cut all ties with the actress following the admission of the cheating scandal. I don't know if it's cheating or not, but cheating scandal for paying $500,000 to get her daughters into USC.
Yeah, well, theirs is cheating, I think, because they were the ones that did the SAT fake thing.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Felicity isn't her husband
William H.
Macy, right?
Who's a local guy.
Yeah. William's from around here, right? Or he has relatives here.
Yeah.
He comes by. We've seen him a couple of times. So anyway, so she paid $500,000 in bribes to get her daughters accepted to USC.
Right.
And so she was indicted on a single count of mail fraud. So she's been fired from everything, and her daughter apparently has been caught up in this too. She was an actress.
Well, that was the daughter. I mean, that was the one who got in.
Well,
there were 2.
Right, there were 2 that. Oh, that's right, there were 2 that got in. So they announced that the series, whatever it is that she was filming, when changes will not air. Executives say ash-canned everything, and so they've done they've done everything to dump them for this. And I thought it was kind of fascinating that. When you say what I thought was interesting about this is bribery. What are you talking about? People do it all the time. I mean, to get their kids in. I mean, it's systemic. I mean, you make a donation. You always do everything. And are you crazy? I mean, of course you do that. And,
well, yeah. I mean, look, they're in some gray area. I mean, and they've crossed it over into.
I think they have crossed over. Yeah. No, when you send somebody else to take the SAT.
Yeah,
that's right off the bat.
But this is civil stuff, from my opinion.
Right.
This is stuff that could be settled in civil court. And I know that woman filed a $500 gazillion lawsuit.
$500 billion. She
really lowballed him on that.
Yeah, really lowballed him. She's furious, and so she filed this. I think it's a class action suit.
Yeah.
500. Do you think she's going to get
every kid in the nation? Yeah, no. But she'll get something. What'll happen is they'll say, well, okay, how about half?
Right.
And,
yeah.
Yeah, like Felicity and
Jennifer K. Toy, a former Oakland school teacher, she's filed this $500 billion class action suit Wednesday against defendants named in Operation Varsity Blues, claiming that legitimate applicants to colleges were denied due to the illegal activities.
She'll never be able to prove that, but for this scandal, her kid would have gotten.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, seriously, we've talked. I think we mentioned this before, that her son Joshua wasn't admitted to several universities where massive cheating scandal took place, in spite of having a 4.2, which I didn't realize you could do that.
Yeah, that's so stupid. I hate it when they. I mean, oh, I got a 5.2.
Yeah, right. Out of 4.
I got 11.2.
Yeah, out of 5.
Out of 4. Out of 4.
But the point, as you say, when you have 5,000 people competing for submitting applications at $35 a clip for 500 spaces.
There's no chance that they'll be able to determine that. The legitimate lawsuit should come from the schools, and it should be against, more than likely, the people who set up the whole thing.
Singer was the guy's name.
Yeah, Singer and the coaches and whoever.
Oh, right. The coaches, I think, are being relieved.
Well, of course they are. But what I'm saying is that that's where the legitimate lawsuits come in, to the people who planned and executed it on the organizational side. I mean, going after. I mean, they'll go after the actresses and their daughters and whatever else because they got cash.
Right.
But I mean, the lawyers are not. That's who they're going to want to go
right.
after. But at the end of the day, I mean, obviously they don't have that kind of money. So we'll see. But they should pay. They should do whatever. Apologize.
Well, who gets paid?
The schools. The schools' reputations were damaged. And so they should be compensated by all the actors involved to the extent that they can be, which is, they'll probably bankrupt some people and that kind of stuff. But, for sure. Because the schools really did suffer serious damage.
Do you think so?
Yeah, they'll be able to throw out some numbers and say, look, man, our reputations are damaged and you owe us. And they'll have some actuaries come up with some numbers.
What you're telling me is now that a degree from USC or Harvard is going to be tainted?
It took a hit. No, it's not. It's going to be fine still. But they're going to be able to argue that they took a hit. That's all they have to do is say, we took a hit, you owe us a few $1,000,000, whatever it is. That's legitimate. But to charge them with mail fraud, which is what they've done, federal crimes, we're going to cage these actresses. And then the way they went and got them, they perp walked them out at 6 a.m.
God,
I mean, with guns drawn and everything, come on, Felicity, we're coming in right now.
And all in SWAT suits.
Yeah, I mean, just insanity. And of course, the other girl did it the right way. She arranged to turn herself in. And stayed out of their custody until that time.
Right.
And was able to walk in there with her makeup and looking good and everything.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate. We'll drag them down, it looks like, into the criminal system for this kind of stuff, which to me is overkill.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Well, of course, it's not only the next thing that, of course, naturally, the next thing that happened is in Congress. Senate Democrat targets college donors after admissions scandal. A top Senate Democrat is looking to end tax breaks for college donations that parents may be making to universities in an attempt to get
That's just stupid. I mean, except that I'm all for always ending taxes in any place, but to eliminate the tax credits means you're just taking a hit on education.
Right. Well, this is the thing, and they said he plans to introduce a bill that will prohibit donors from taking a tax deduction for those charitable contributions to universities.
Right.
So you make a charitable contribution to the university, which is nonprofit, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And the state ones, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Anyway, but it's interesting. What's fascinating, of course, is that the bribery is the senators and these people that are filing these bills. They should know all about bribery. I mean, when you think about it, look at their campaign contributors. I mean, the list. It goes on and on, and you talk about swaying their vote.
But we need to draw the clear, bright line, which is to say, look, you can give somebody money all day long, unless there's a specific quid pro quo that you can point to. There's no. Maybe they just took your money. I mean, maybe they're just doing whatever they were going to do anyway. And that's, of course, what always happens with...
Well, of course, let me tell you.
Look, if you don't like what they vote for, you vote them out. It doesn't matter who paid them. It's just, you don't like what their policy is. It doesn't matter where it came from. It just matters you don't like it, so you vote them out.
Well, at least you don't donate to them. Or if you don't like what they're doing. But my point is that certainly the United Citrus Farmers of Florida, when they donate $100,000 to a particular PAC, they expect to get something for it.
Well, they may, but and yeah, of course they do, but. So what is my point? It's like from my perspective, all that you should be able to figure out is who donated money to whom. And if
well, that's what they always want to do. They always want to have, all the times they want to have the lists. And of course, some of the PACs, I think they have a way to disguise their donors.
Yeah, because you can donate to the PAC, and then the PAC donates to
right,
and so you don't know where the money gets washed.
Yeah, it gets washed.
Yeah, but
that's good.
I mean, but those PACs are all a creation of the stupid campaign finance rules.
Absolutely. No, I mean, you know what?
You should be able to donate whatever you want to whomever you want.
They should.
No
campaign.
limits.
This is a typical
It'll
case.
all come out in the wash.
The government's sitting there and they say, we're going to fix this. Right away, no, you can't fix any.
You don't have a lot of faith in the government.
No, I have not. Zero. And what it turns out, of course, is it invariably it accomplishes precisely the opposite. It does a 180.
You have negative faith in it.
Yeah. I have negative faith, but I'm saying that the campaign finance reform it catches a few people, every once in a while, but basically it's crap. You're just not, with $4.5 trillion going through Washington D.C. There's just too many people that want to get their hands on it. It's like
too much money.
It's like Willie Sutton said, why do you rob banks? Because that's where the money is. Mm-hmm. And why do you go to Washington as a K Street lobbyist, of which there are thousands?
Why is that
why are you there?
Most expensive real estate on the planet?
Exactly, because that's where the money is. Mm-hmm. So, moving along, the state Supreme Court, this is kind of interesting. In Connecticut, mm-hmm. The state Supreme Court overturns a lower court ruling, says Sandy Hook families can sue Remington.
Okay, well, a little bit, to some extent. Okay, this is a technical ruling.
Okay.
And what happened is
they remanded it to the lower court.
Yeah, okay. And it'll probably. Okay, so let me just explain how this works. Okay. What you do, you make a bunch of allegations against somebody, mm-hmm. and then the court evaluates them as to whether or not you even made the case that they committed a crime. And if you go in there and you say, so-and-so called me a whole bunch of names, they go, sorry, no crime.
Okay.
No matter what they said. You say, yeah, but they called me this and that and the other, and sorry, you don't get to sue.
Okay.
What they did in this case was they alleged that Remington specifically advertised their guns for illegal purposes. That is, they claim that Remington's ads actually advocate breaking the law.
Really?
Yes.
And do they have such an ad in their possession?
Well, of course they do. Of course they do. Sure, it'll come out in discovery.
Right.
But the point is that once the jury sees that ad, they're going to be like, no, sorry, they were just trying to sell guns.
Right.
So what this does, this ruling, it overcomes the bare minimum necessary to say that something criminal happened.
Okay.
Because if Remington did produce an ad that said, here's how you go into the White House with your gun or something like that, then yeah, they would be liable for advocating breaking the law in a systemic way. I know it's weak, but it's still there. But that's what you can't do, and that's what they advocated. But they're not going to get anything out of this. Nobody's getting a dime out of Remington for this stuff. Well, they're already getting money.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so at the end of the day, though, they will chuck this out, or the jury will rule against them. I sincerely doubt Remington will even settle on this kind of a thing, because it would set a terrible, terrible precedent.
Right.
So you just can't blame the gun manufacturers. Like we talked about before. Why don't you blame the bullet?
Yeah.
It wasn't me. It wasn't the gun. It was that dang bullet.
Right.
And then, as you said, it was the law of inertia.
That's it.
It wasn't a bullet.
Yeah.
I was just over here flying by, and the law of inertia compelled me to.
And of course, Congress can repeal that law.
They repeal that law. That's what you should do.
Repeal the law of inertia.
That's right. And that's the way to do it. That's the real way to go about this.
Well, it's interesting. It says the court ruled that Sandy Hook families should have the opportunity to prove that Remington violated the Connecticut Unfair Trade Practices Act, CUTPA, by marketing what it knew was a weapon designed for military use to civilians such as the Lancers. Well, what was interesting is the weapon in question is not the military weapon.
And that's another thing that they'll have to show.
I mean, it was not a machine gun.
They don't care. As far as they're concerned, if it looks like a military weapon,
Right.
it's a military weapon. They don't even know the difference between semi-automatic and automatic. So
Right. That's I see that all the time.
Yeah.
So anyway, they civilians for criminal purposes and those wrongful marketing tactics caused or contributed to the Sandy Hook massacre. So anyway, they're going to do that again. Of course, as we go along for guns, again, this is the next thing we've got in Florida here. Flour dough. Every once in a while, we do some really stupid things here in Florida. A Florida bill would jail minors for posting pictures of guns. Wait a minute, this is so cool. A new Florida bill would make it a crime for a minor to post a picture of a gun or a device displayed to resemble a firearm on social media.
Yeah.
Bill SB 1310 was issued by Democrat Jason W. Pizzo. The bill states that anyone younger than 18 who publishes or posts a picture of a firearm, a BB gun, an air or gas-operated gun, or a device displayed to resemble a firearm to a social media page, post, profile, or account that is openly viewable to the public commits a misdemeanor of the first degree, punishable by a fine of $1,000 or a year in jail.
This resembles a gun.
I know.
Yeah.
God, I mean, what is... Okay, go ahead.
This is beyond idiocy. It's amazing. So adults can post these all the time, and what we're looking at here behind us is just scenes from Midway,
Right?
And of course, there's guns all over the place,
Yeah.
and planes and artillery and everything. That's not what causes the violence. Okay, it's not that you see these images and then somehow you're hypnotized into committing violence. That's not what's going on. Hopefully, they will laugh this guy out of the committee.
Got to be laughed out. Because as I say here, if you have a Christmas story with a fake BB gun as a prop, would be also something. Halloween costumes. What if you dress up as a cowboy and you picture
You're doing time.
You're doing time. A police officer, a soldier.
Nope. Nope. No way.
No way. And so, speaking of, what if a kid were taking a photo with one who happened to have a gun on them? That was to say, you're
in the background.
In the background, right, visible. And if because of that, a device that displayed resembles
Right.
A qualifying picture, an innocent summer squirt gun that resembles.
How about a cloud?
Yeah, a cloud that resembles a gun. I mean, this is, as you say. I mean, Florida. Of course, we got nutcases all over the place.
Man, this guy is trying for the crown here. He's going for it.
I mean, this is the stupidest guy.
This is it. Yeah, I mean, seriously, God.
He actually filed a bill in the Senate.
Yeah. Now, on the same vein, New Zealand, and we have to go to New Zealand now, I think.
Okay.
In the same vein, New Zealand has law on the books right now that if anyone is in knowing possession of the video that was just broadcast on Facebook and YouTube, 10 years in prison.
What?
For knowing possession of that video in New Zealand, the punishment is 10 years in prison.
Will they pass that law yesterday?
I don't know. I don't think so. No, I think
I'm
that's
sure there's not fake news.
not 100%, but I'm pretty sure because I read it pretty well, and it said if you publish the video, it's 14 years. So I mean, we're talking real major. You can Google it, double check. Maybe we should call bullshit on that.
I'm telling you, this sounds. I mean, I know they've got some very strict gun laws in Australia, and I think in New Zealand,
They're
way
pretty
stricter than ours.
Everybody's got to be registered.
Right.
There's a bunch of stuff like that. Didn't help, obviously.
No. Right. But I'm saying, they did see that one of the things that happened. Facebook especially tried to, cleanse. They went through and cleansed all the videos, but they couldn't have gotten them all.
Well, like we said, the video was up for about an hour for a while. Anybody could have taped it, and could now be in possession. But if you're in possession, it's hideous if you're in New Zealand, and if you try to post it again, if you're in New Zealand, hideousness. And of course, once again, look, it's not the images. People don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. That's not it. But whatever harm they're trying to prevent, I just can't imagine them going after. somebody for this, putting somebody away for having a video.
I'm blown away, because one of the things that is kind of interesting in a way, when you see the live videos of that kind of stuff all over the news reports and so forth in Africa, where people are getting shot up all over the place.
Look, it's news.
Yeah,
it's news.
Right.
We have to know what's going on. If you censor us from the news, what I mean, it's not good enough to just to say we can't see the video. Who's out there telling me I can't see the stupid video?
They are.
I know, but it's some asshole who's like, I don't want people seeing the video. Well, go jump in a lake.
Well, it was interesting that Ben Shapiro came up and said, we reiterate that we are not going to show the video, and we're not going to publish the manifesto. You're not going to be able to get it, and we're not even going to mention the guy's name.
And if I were him, I wouldn't do any of that stuff either. I would do it just like he did it. But I am a free American citizen. There shouldn't be anything wrong with me seeing the video. I should be able to go somewhere and see the video. That's just
again, it's one of those.
It's like what? It's not R-rated. It's not X-rated. It's not triple X-rated. It's like triple Z rated. Nobody can have it.
Yeah.
Nobody can have it. It's off limits video. It's
worse than any porn you
any porn, any massacre. Faces of death.
Child pornography is okay compared to this.
Well, actually, that's another one of those things. You can't have any of those videos. Knowing possession of any child pornography video is automatic jail time as well. Which again is stupid. Okay, I'm not advocating child porn.
Oh, you're not?
No, I'm not. But the point
is, lost all our viewers.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm probably committing crimes in 27 nations by just saying that. But that's insanity, and that's the kind of crap that we publish these days. I mean, you really want to mess with somebody, you can go onto their computer, Google some child pornography thing, download a thing, and they're facing decades in prison, in federal prison here in the United States, for just having a video. And again. There's no harm. Nothing happens when you watch a video. Nothing evil happens when you watch a video. It just doesn't. You have to do something else after that. If you don't commit a crime after that, then you've done that.
Then you've got a crime.
That's right. But to just have or watch a video, and for people to say that they're going to be the arbiters of what information can come in and out of a free adult American.
They've always been. I mean, when I was in high school, Lady Chatterley's Lover was forbidden.
Look, I remember they banned Catcher in the Rye when I was a kid.
No.
Yes, Catcher in the Rye.
We were required to read it.
No, yeah, and by the time they got to us, they were worried about the salacious innuendo. It was amazing.
I was required in my senior class to read that.
No, you know, I heard a comedian say last night, he said, listen, what we should do is, if you notice, all of these school shooters were not getting sex. Okay? So we really should be applauding the teachers who are sleeping with the students because they're preventing real harm.
Ah, there you go.
Okay? They are really taking one for the team. And all right, we're going.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Speaking, I don't know. Did I just mention this at the beginning? Is one of the when they're talking about all the stuff. I mean, this is 24/7 for I don't know how long. The massacre in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I noticed there was almost no news this week about the 32 Christians who were burned alive in a church in Nigeria.
I didn't hear about that.
Yep. What happened was they were in church in Nigeria, 32 of them, and this place was set on fire by some terrorists or whatever.
Recently?
This last week. Nobody said a word. There was also, I was looking up some massacres in the Congo. Mm-hmm. Now, there was a couple I think in December or something, so it's been a while. But I don't remember reading the news about that, and there were literally hundreds massacred.
Yeah.
Hundreds. They have mass graves and everything. No news. Nobody cares, really. I mean,
my reaction to this is a little, okay, there it is. It's bad. It's evil.
Totally.
Okay, but I wasn't like crying or heartbroken in the deepest way because the truth is 50 people are murdered every day in the United States.
In Chicago alone.
Well, yeah, I mean there's a dozen in Chicago or something, and there's 5 in Miami or something.
Yeah.
But the point is that's natural rates of attrition. So okay, it's awful, it's terrible, it's evil, it's bad, it's horrendous. But that's sort of regular at the end of the day.
Well, of course, then the other people are going to come out and say there are how many thousands and thousands of babies that are murdered through abortion.
And there's that. Yeah, I mean, if you're on that side, that's a whole nother.
That's a whole. I'm not going to go.
But I'm just talking about the normal, regular murders, and from my perspective, I hope no. I mean, of course, there's going to be all. They're already talking about extra gun control stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they already got it. What are you? How much more can you do?
Not much, and I will post. I've got a big giant essay I'm going to post up on our site under on our papers page, jimmydoneshow.com. Papers, my big gun review. It breaks down a whole bunch of stuff about gun laws and what they might be able to accomplish and not accomplish. And and the big thing that I continue to always try to remind people is that the Second Amendment is not there for hunting. It's not even there to protect you in your home. It's really not. That's not why it's there, even though it does that to a huge extent, and it deters massive amounts of crime in the United States because people understand that everybody is armed, or a lot of people are armed, or anybody could be armed. So that's a huge deterrence, but that's again not why the Second Amendment's there. It's to prevent war. Big time, revolution, war, that kind of stuff. Invasions or insurrections.
You're supposed to protect yourself against your government.
That's what I'm saying. Insurrections, revolutions, and invasions.
Okay.
All three things. That's why the Second Amendment is there. And so, until you can assure me that none of those things are possible, then I believe we should still have the Second Amendment.
No, I'm with you on that. Well, the other thing is that one of the things that you do find, which I've always found amazing, especially now that we have the kind of, we have some rogue police and enforcement people. Okay, now I realize it might be anecdotal and so forth, but if everybody's guns are taken away and only the police have guns, that would scare me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a total recipe for disaster because, as we all know from
Venezuela.
Well, from I was going to say from just everything that's apparent, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So if you put all the guns in the hands of one group of people, guess what's going to happen? Yeah, they're going to become corrupted. They're going to take over. That's just what's going to happen. As nice and as kind, as benevolent as they are, if you create ultimate power in person, they cannot help but begin to think of everything that they do as right and correct. And then then they just start mowing stuff over in terms of obstacles.
Well, that, as I say, I've mentioned this on a couple more than one occasion. They have the sting operation down here at the end of my street, where they set up with the little radar things and everything. They got a couple of motorcycle cops. They got the guy in the car, and they're aiming the radio.
You got a mile-long road with no side roads.
None. Zero.
And the speed limit is 35.
The speed limit is 35.
Four-lane road.
Four-lane road, and and the whole idea there, and it's just and has been recently repaved. I mean, there's no potholes in that road. So you come down there, and if you're doing 40 or 45, which it used to be 45, and you come down there, they nail you $150. Now I'm telling you right now, that is that's an outrage, and I mean, some people that can mean like no ED, for a while, or no my rent. I'm going to be late on my rent or something. $150. That's here in the United States. Even that's a lot of money here in Florida. I mean, I'm sorry to tell you.
It is, so, and that's just a single ticket for one thing. I mean, if you get a seatbelt ticket on addition to that,
that's right.
Anything like that, you could be looking at $200-300 in no time.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. If you or God forbid that you would have a light out someplace,
Yeah.
Hideous. And they're going to look inside your car, and if they see, any cause for, there looks like that might be something illegal, get out, You
never know.
No, you don't. Okay. This I thought was kind of interesting. I don't know whether this goes as a light note or not. Italy, it says, I guess the people in Italy are outraged as the court, can you imagine this? The court finds a victim too ugly to be raped. Now, I mean, what happened was in Italy, I love this, Italy's Justice Ministry has ordered a preliminary inquiry into an appeals court ruling that overturned a rape verdict, in part by arguing that the woman who was attacked was too ugly to be a credible rape victim. The sentence was handed down by an all-female panel. I'm sitting there thinking...
This is bad news. Because and I don't mean bad, I mean it's wrong news. It's kind of fake news. Because what happened here is they didn't find the witness credible.
Oh.
And then they said, well, why not? And then somebody probably elaborated and said, well, she's too ugly or something like that or whatever it is. My point is that you can judge credibility based on nothing. You can just look at someone and be like, I don't believe them.
Yeah, no, I know that.
And so, if they had found her credible, but then said, she's too ugly. Okay, that's different.
Okay.
But the fact that they found her story to be not credible,
Okay.
That's a totality of circumstances test.
Okay.
And so
Okay,
it just
I see what you're
factors
saying.
in.
So that really shouldn't have weighed into it at all.
No.
It's,
I mean, and what my guess is that the writer of the story picked up on that one detail,
Right.
put that in the headline, and is
Right.
trying to emphasize that as
Yeah.
the reason. But at the end of the day, it's most likely credibility.
Okay, no, I think you're right. So fake news, whatever. Bad news for people wanting to visit Florida over the holidays, huh?
The ticket prices.
Ticket prices. Walt Disney World, that's the one in Orlando, is raising the ticket prices, making Christmas and other holidays the most expensive. They have hiked their prices again. They just did it like last year. They were $105 for an entry in or something like that. Now, during the holidays, during Christmas and New Year's, will be $159, up $30 from last year. Price of the dates around other holidays like Memorial Day and Easter have also been increased. Disney sets a one park tickets range in price from one park tickets did range from 109 to 129. But the point is that they're now going up to now. I've been to Disney, and I imagine SeaWorld across the street is going to follow suit. Last time I went to SeaWorld, which was in the summer, which you never want to do, it was 150 degrees and they had no shade
Right.
and no place to sit down. I was
that
dying.
was strange. Yeah.
Oh my God! I'll tell you, every little piece of shade people were hovering around. Anyway, but they've also ruined SeaWorld too because
They did. They screwed up the shows. They used to be great.
the shows used to be fabulous. But I'll tell you,
They were sucky.
they were totally.
They didn't even have to change them.
No, well, they're all panicky now.
I know it's PETA or they got crushed by that Blackfin thing.
Right.
I've got friends who hate SeaWorld now. Hate SeaWorld.
Yeah.
They post stuff all the time. Hey, Anja. They post. Look, from my perspective, nobody would know anything about a killer whale if it wasn't for SeaWorld. You wouldn't care. You wouldn't care if they shot killer whales with a .50 caliber off the front of a Japanese fishing boat if it weren't for SeaWorld. It's only because they have humanized the creatures there for all of our enjoyment for the last 50 years.
That's what Mrs. Jimmy says.
I'm with her on this one.
I know you are, but I'll tell you that I saw Blackfish or whatever it was, and I thought, man,
It looks sucky.
It looks really bad.
It does. It totally does, but you're not going to convince me those trainers don't care about those animals.
I'm sure they do.
I know some of the trainers, and I know that they do. Now, is the situation ideal? No, not even close. And should you have whales in a tiny cage like that? Probably not anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Especially these days. Now you can go watch the films of SeaWorld, that kind of stuff. But they did what they did, and we know what we know now, and you like dolphins and walruses and stuff because of SeaWorld.
Well, they've taken, but those shows have also been bowdlerized. I mean, they used to be a lot of fun. They had a thing where they had the walrus and the sea lions.
They don't even have the walrus anymore because
they
of
don't
probably because it's not cold enough for them or something.
I don't know, I tell you. And
it was terrible. It was awful shows.
Yeah, it was too bad. But anyway, Disney's going through. But I mean, the thing, I suppose they can get away with it. I mean, the last time I went to Disney was years and years and years ago. But at least here in Florida, most of the traffic is from South America.
Oh yeah, well the big, huge Brazilian flocks of people.
I mean, really, they are. I mean, and they can fill up that whole place. And of course, the other thing is now, of course, this is only the beginning. You want a first place in line? You want a special ticket or something? I mean, you could spend if you take your husband, wife, and 2 kids.
$500 just to walk through the door.
Oh, at least.
Yeah.
At least. No, I mean, by the time you get in and out of there, you can spend $1,000 easy.
Yeah, no, easy peasy. Like not even trying.
And that's a day.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, it's and this to me exemplifies the inflation that's happening. You can say what you want about core inflation. This is a real price. This is right here.
Yeah, right, and it is. And of course, the other thing is it's market. It's the market. Mm-hmm. That is to say, if they get away with it, go for it.
That's it.
What can you say? That's
fine. They are, or they wouldn't.
Or they wouldn't do it. That's right. But because the fact is that those places are packed. And it's just interesting. Mm-hmm. All right, moving on to Venezuela again.
Okay.
This I thought was kind of interesting. The United States has revoked more than 340 visas from Venezuela since Monday. That's just now. Yeah. What's happened is the United States revoked hundreds of visas from Venezuela since Monday, nearly a third of which belong to former diplomats from Venezuela and their families, and is urging U.S. citizens in Venezuela, U.S. citizens, to flee the country after the United States withdrew its diplomats. But the diplomats and the people in the head of the government people in Venezuela, Venezuelan government people who want to flee and want a visa to come to the United States, and they're saying no.
Why not?
Don't know. I mean, here's the deal.
What's their excuse?
We have revoked 340 visas, 107 of which include visas of Maduro's former diplomats and their families. The United States has been stepping up actions against President Nicolas Maduro's government.
But if they're former diplomats, I would think that we'd want them here.
Right. That's the whole thing. That'll teach them. You know, first you call for the revolt, mm-hmm. and then when they want to get out of town, you say, "No, can't come here." No, that's right. The government has always in the past led Americans to believe that we're a nation. That you come and you're oppressed and you're going to be killed. Come on in, but no. And these people are probably not poor.
Right, the former diplomats.
Former diplomat, right? Yeah, got something. And so,
that's weird.
So anyway, you had, and that was the question the first question I asked, and this is some of the questions in the comments were, what is the possible reason for revoking these visas? I mean,
some kind of security concern.
Do you think there may be? What are you talking about? Security concern?
Maybe and of course, they're faking being ex-diplomats and they're there to spy or something, and they come in. But so what? What are you going to do?
Venezuela is going to
go
spy?
On a tour of the White House or something?
Yeah. Well, the thing of it that I get about it is that here's a guy. I don't know if it's for sure or not. But if you happen to be a diplomat mm-hmm. from Venezuela, you've got a diplomatic passport. That's an automatic walk through, usually.
Diplomatic immunity.
That's right, diplomatic immunity. Yeah. So I just think it's fascinating to me that
maybe that's the story. Maybe they just revoked their diplomatic immunity because they're not diplomats anymore or something.
Right, because we recognize the other guy.
Maybe
that's what it is. We don't recognize the Maduro government anymore.
It sounds like something technical like that. It sounds like, oh crap, now we have to do this because.
Of course, then they're just regular old citizens who'd like to come. What's wrong?
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, we get a visa.
Yeah, and I don't know. That's a weird story.
Now, another thing that I have not followed up on, and I'm not going to, it has to do with Brexit.
Oh, okay.
I think Brexit's supposed to go take effect here in a couple of days. I mean,
apparently they voted overwhelmingly to push it back.
Push it back until June or July or something.
Oh, I heard 2 years.
Oh well, it says here they said it's called a short delay that Parliament can agree on.
Okay.
And it says, let's see, departure set down in law, which Theresa May has repeatedly emphasized, likely to be missed. They said the motion could last until June 30th.
Oh, okay.
But the longer extension is not currently time limited. Either would require unanimous approval. This is the other thing. Unanimous approval for the other 27 EU members whose leaders meet tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Or no, not tomorrow. This next Thursday. But I thought it was interesting that when you look at it's a mess over there. I mean, they're talking the small Theresa May hopes the threat of a long delay will push Brexit supporters in her Conservative Party and members of the Democratic Unionists, the small Northern Irish Party that props up her minority government in Parliament. Now, this is something that I probably should go to Ireland one of these days and find out who's what, because the Northern Ireland is British. And the rest of it is the Republic of Ireland or something?
Yeah, something like that. It's.
I'm supposed to know this.
It's split off right at the top. There's Northern Ireland and Ireland now.
Okay.
And right now there's no wall or barrier or anything between them.
Right.
And that's one of the big contentions is
Right.
since
Sticking point.
Northern Ireland wants to go with England and split off from the EU, but Ireland itself wants to stay part of the EU.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so that's the problem is that they're thinking, well, crap, if we split off and then we're going to control the immigration now, then they got to build a border, a fence or a wall or something between Ireland and Northern Ireland.
Can't they just draw a line?
Well, that's what people are suggesting. Look, just put a freaking line on the road, put some cameras up there, and if there's a bunch of transgressions, then go after the transgressors.
Yeah.
But you don't have to build a freaking Berlin Wall or a Dublin Wall or whatever.
Yeah, well, they I don't know if the Irish thing is all over, because when you look at the wall between Canada and the United States, I mean, there's vast stretches where there's nothing.
Right. Well, did you notice that there's been more sort of a rash of people coming? The tens of people have tried to come across in the boats recently.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. The number skyrocketed to 46 or something.
Is that right?
From 26. Yeah.
Well, now let me ask you this: so on those Great Lakes, are any of are they divided in half? Any of them?
What do you mean? Yeah, like all of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They say
Oh, I
you
didn't
go
know.
across. That's.
Okay, so if you decide to swim over,
You're there.
You're-
I mean, you can you can see the other side.
I know, and some of them, well,
Some
I'm not-
places.
Yeah, not Lake Superior or something.
No, well, I mean, yeah.
But unless you're at the end, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, that's interesting. But I mean, they were showing in one of the things. There's a road, in Montana or something up. There's a road along the border there, where on one side is Canada and the other side is the United States. I mean, you can get out of your car and walk into Canada.
Yeah.
So of course, you're in the middle of bare woods or something. You can get eaten alive. I don't know.
No problem.
Okay, the last thing, not the last thing, I'm done with the Christchurch shootings because Trump was, he was the one that did all that. Oh, okay, the next thing we have found here, this I thought was interesting. What to know about the measles outbreak?
Oh, yes.
Affecting over 70 people in Washington state. The anti-vaccination hotspot. Apparently there's a town or two or a county or something where 40% of the people there don't get vaccinated.
Yes.
And guess what? They're having a measles outbreak. Now, one of the things, there's 71 confirmed cases and 3 suspected. That's not all that many, of course. But I can tell you from personal experience, when I was growing up, I had the measles.
Really?
Absolutely did. Went home, laid in bed for a couple of days, whatever, had the splotches and all that stuff done.
Wait, chicken pox or measles?
I had both.
Really?
And I had scarlet fever.
What?
Yep, never had mumps.
Wow.
But I had scarlet fever. I remember being sent home from school when I had that. But yeah, no, I had measles. And one of the deals was, especially when I was growing up, or right around the time I was growing up, before the vaccinations were all, the only vaccination I got was for ticks. I had a tick shot every year. But the thing was with smallpox, or with chickenpox, I mean, you would parade yourself around and get everybody infected, so
Right.
so it'd have the immunity.
Right.
And so as far as I was concerned, I never had a measles shot, but they did say
Well, yeah,
that
because you had it. And
I'd had it, right? Had the immunity, but I mean, it was not the number of deaths. It's, don't get me wrong, any death, blah blah blah, whatever and so forth. But and of
Well,
course,
it's not smallpox. That's,
no, it's not. But I understand. It's my understanding. Now, somebody correct me on this. I could be easily wrong, but it's my understanding that smallpox immunizes you against smallpox. Chickenpox, I mean, immunizes against.
Oh, what? Against smallpox?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
That I don't know.
I don't know that either. Okay, but anyway.
It does.
It's a pox on you.
Yeah, it does it against something else. I remember that. But what I want to say about this whole thing is vaccinations work. Okay.
Yeah, no, there's no question.
Everybody should get freaking their kids vaccinated, and yeah, okay, maybe there's some bad reactions in some kids, and that's horrible, but in general, the vast majority of the people should be vaccinated. This is real science. This stuff works.
Yeah.
This is good science. Please, and this is, to me, people who talk about Trump lies. I saw somebody posted a tweet from what appeared to be Donald Trump saying something about vaccines can be bad or something. Yeah, and so I don't know, but if he said that to me, that is going to rank up there as the worst lie at this point.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Because that's
a killer.
Horrendous.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine not being vaccinated on polio, for instance?
Seriously, that's what I'm talking about. Polio, smallpox,
and polio,
the real
of course,
killers.
I mean, polio, at least all you have to do is eat a sugar cube, for God's sakes, and you're
And
done.
I mean, and those things wiped out some people.
Yeah.
They'll kill some folks. So
yeah, well, I mean, not only that. I mean, it's even. I mean, I remember when I was growing up, the iron lung. The polio vaccine did not become totally available until I was in my teens.
wow.
And so, but we didn't go into the swimming pools, the public swimming pools, and stuff like that. I mean, during the summertime and everything like that. No, we stayed away from a lot of that stuff.
Wow.
But so
it
was bad. Okay, and of course, the last thing I've got is the Children's March Around the World. Yeah, was it yesterday, the day before, or something? Friday. It was Friday, I think. There were literally thousands around the world, out of billions, that kids, they were 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 years old, that marched in cities all over the world for Save Me.
Yeah, we mentioned that they were going to do this.
They did it.
Yeah.
So from Vanuatu to California, from Vanuatu to California, young people went on a climate strike, they called it, to bring attention to the way from climate change threatens their futures. Thousands of young people across the world walked out of school on Friday in a massive, internationally coordinated strikes to bring attention to see the existential threat, climate change.
And I tell you what, if I could have gotten away with skipping school for a political protest, it would have been every Friday. Every Friday I would have been, oh man, we have to skip school today. Can't have war. Can't have this. I'd find something every Friday.
Well, they've done it. They've done it here in this town. I know that the teachers got their students to parade down University Avenue.
Yeah.
For
this is the most shameless, to me, appeal to emotion. You trot a kid out there. I mean, we talked about it a bunch of times, but this is just, come on, adults, come on, you guys. This is ridiculous. You want to make an argument? Make an argument. Don't trot out a bunch of kids, feed them a bunch of talking points, and then put them out there. You know, that one 13-year-old kid who went and gave a talk to the Bilderberg Group or the United Nations or whatever.
What? Really?
And we talked about it.
Okay.
It was about a month ago. And everybody's like, oh, she's so inspiring. I'm like, she has no idea what she's talking about. No idea. She has no clue.
Well,
she's read news articles about it. She's not a researcher. She's never read a study. She doesn't know. She can't think about it. She's a kid. And
it gets better.
Okay.
The girl in Sweden who organized the Swedish children's thing, I think she's 13 or 14 or something.
I think that's the girl I'm talking about.
16. Well, no. She's been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize.
I'm sure she has.
Yeah, okay.
Give it to her.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, at least she speaks the lingo.
Hey, she's maybe a totally impressive kid on every level. I'm still not listening to her on climate change unless she starts citing studies and stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's insanity that they've gotten to the point of where they're going to say, well, the kids know better.
Well, of course, the kids
know
are
better.
The kids are all yeah. Well, of course they don't. But they've been scared to death.
Why'd you put them in charge?
Yeah, that's it exactly. They want to reduce they're talking about reducing the voting age to 16. And
I saw one response to that was like, raise it to 30.
Yeah, right, exactly. Get some brains in there.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't mind. I don't care if there's a voting age, because from my perspective, it all comes out in the wash. If the parents are going to send their kids in to vote, then the other parents are going to send their kids in to vote from the other side of the aisle.
Well, this is what I've always said. The same kind of thing that I've said about the money in politics. You got the Soros on one side and you got the Koch brothers on the other.
Right.
Who cares? It washes.
It's a total wash. It has to be. So you just let it go.
Yeah, you let it go. Well, again, if they've got the kids all brainwashed and scared to death that they're going to be under some kind of complete climate wipeout.
Right, 12 years from now.
12 years from now. Well, they said if you don't...
Tell a 12-year-old that's going to freak them out.
Yeah, right. By the time I'm not going to see 24.
That's
no.
it.
I mean, so...
But and they tell them shit like, well, it's just because the adults don't like you or something. Or they don't care about kids. They don't care about their kids.
What? What they do, okay, here's what we do.
It's insanity.
One of the original Star Treks, they landed on this planet and there was nobody there but kids.
Right.
Because the adults had all been wiped out. And of course, I guess when they got to be 13 or 14, they died or something like that. And they called them up grups. The grups.
Yeah.
Kill the grups.
Yeah.
That's for grown-ups. So maybe that's what they ought to do. I mean,
we're certainly encouraging them to.
I know.
You guys know better than we do. We're
Yeah.
just the adults in charge of everything. It's insanity.
We just got a couple minutes, so I'm done.
Okay, I'll be real quick.
Okay.
Gillibrand officially in.
Yes. Oh, and let's see who else. Gillibrand's officially in, and who else? Who else just announced? I forget. We know about Beto.
Right.
And of course, apparently Biden almost announced and then retracted it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, Gillibrand's a nun.
That's right. But yeah, and in terms of Beto, now there's been some weird news about him. Did you read that fiction story he wrote about murdering kids?
No.
Yeah, it was like when he was 15, he writes a story about mowing down kids with a car and stuff. It's like, so it's a little dark. It's super dark.
A little dark.
It's super dark. But I'm going to give him the fiction pass. But at the same, but then he came out. He's making a statement about it. And he was like, "It doesn't matter what I was thinking at the time. It was wrong." And I'm like, "No, well, wait a minute. What you should have said was, I was writing a fiction story." And so,
Well, you think about, you do think about that movie called Christine.
okay.
It was about a Plymouth or something.
Car, yeah.
Yeah, car that was named Christine. Evil car, yeah, whatever. So.
Yeah, well, it's like, and you wouldn't prevent Stephen King from running for office,
no.
But obviously that's super dark as well. But it's just kind of interesting that, and we'll see how Beto does.
Yeah.
Pretty. I mean, I thought. I mean, at least he. You're not gonna be able to call him low energy. And
No. No, Mr. Skateboard.
Yeah, and he's not boring.
No.
So
He's the male Ocasio.
maybe he could be a contender. We'll see. You saw where that kid egged
Yes.
the Australian
Guy, and he punched him out.
Well, he slapped him a couple times.
No, he punched him.
I saw. It looked like a slap to me.
It looked like a punch
It looked
to
like
me.
2 slaps.
Well, okay.
But either way, it doesn't matter. Okay, so my analysis of that, just from the video, which doesn't tell everything, but close enough for right now, and that is, A, the kid broke the law. Obviously, it's battery. You can't do that. You
Right.
can't just walk up and smack an egg on somebody's head. I don't care how much you don't like their politics.
Yeah.
And fortunately, the kid is discouraging people from following that path, but only because he got taken down. He's
Yeah.
like, if you do it, you'll get taken down. It's like, no. How about you shouldn't do it?
Yeah, right.
Idiot. And then, of course, the poor politician, he turned around. He should have controlled his temper a little better.
Yeah, he should have.
I mean, come on, you just have the kid arrested. You say, grab that kid.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't
Well,
going
I
down.
can tell you this much. It doesn't take much to have a sudden
Right.
jolt of. I mean, you do
Adrenaline.
something. I mean, and you know if you can control it for more than it's hard to control the first 10 seconds.
Right.
And that's when it happens.
Right,
you know.
and that's exactly right. And the politician may get off because of that. He
You're
may
right.
be able to say it was a quick reaction. It wasn't
Reflex.
thinking exactly
Reflex.
action. But the problem is he did it twice. That if he had just done the one time, he could have gotten away with reflex, I think. But hitting him twice.
Well, I can tell you also
Maybe
though
not.
from having done this before. Once you start in on that.
Then it kicks back.
It kicks back in.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does. You once you've already broken something, you
It
don't.
was amazing. The guy was in the middle of a sentence saying you can't assault people.
Right.
God, it's amazing. Trump vetoed the bill.
Yes.
For the declaration of emergency.
Yeah.
So now it's going to go to the courts. We'll see. We talked about.
Is it the courts? Now he vetoed. Is it going to be an override?
Well, they're going to try, but they're not going to make it.
Okay, they're not going to make it. Okay.
Yeah, that's what he doesn't think it's going to. And even if they were to do that, then obviously it would shut it down. But I think it's going to be in effect until it goes to the courts. They're going to have to sue them. 12 states have a suit together.
Okay.
And so it's in the court system already. So we'll see. But if I were him, I'd be building right now. What can you do? Let's see. Oh, one more real quick thing on Beto. He apologized for this joke that he made about his wife. And this is the thing. I don't think Beto will get far because this is the kind of thing he backtrack on quick. So he had this joke, this routine joke that he would tell when he was doing a speech. He would say, "These are my wonderful kids, and they were raised by us or by my wife with some help from me," or something like that. And so this is apparently this is super offensive to some people.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm still trying to parse out exactly why, but I think it's because they say that it puts women in the role of raising kids or something, but it doesn't. A, it doesn't, and B, it's a joke.
Yeah.
It's a joke. Okay, if you don't like the joke, get over it. Okay, and it's not even. It's amazing, but he already backtracked. "Oh, I'm sorry, I won't ever say that joke again. This is horrible. I need to recognize my right privilege." And all this kind of stuff is like, okay, dude, just calm down.
Okay, dude.
Yeah, seriously.
Calm down.
Southern Poverty Law Center.
I saw that.
Eats
Yes.
one of its own. It scrubs Dees from the.
I saw that. It was.
Scrubs one of their founders from the Wikipedia page and everything.
Yeah, it's like the Russian, when they used to take the
That's it.
airbrush the pictures.
That's it.
He was.
That's exactly what it's like.
Dismissal over his misconduct.
Right.
Apparently, don't know what he did.
Well, something about race. Okay?
Yeah.
So here's a guy who founded this group. They've amassed $500 million in assets, sued everybody under the sun. They've been wildly successful, and they're going to ash can this guy because he made some comments or something that they're going to infer the worst about their founder.
Yeah.
They're going to make the worst possible conclusion. Not like he made a mistake or anything like that, or the good outweighs the bad or anything like that. No. He's out.
Well, I tell you, I've always said the SPLC is one of the worst organizations. They are terrible. Those people, they have deemed themselves as the lord of the people that we should hate, and that's a hate group.
Sorry, Mike's daughter.
I don't care.
That's right. Okay, and then one final thing. I have two final things, I think.
Okay.
First of all, Facebook is actually under criminal investigation right now by the FBI. Let's see, for data deals, basically. In other words, potentially revealing information about their customers in certain deals. Like we'll give you their privacy violations or something.
Okay.
My point is that, again, ridiculous.
Okay.
Ridiculous. If you want to have civil suits against them, go ahead. But can you imagine throwing Zuckerberg in prison because of a data deal about something? Well, yes, they can totally imagine that, and they're investigating it right now.
Got nothing else to do, I guess.
Nothing else to do.
Because seriously, and the thing about it is, anybody, I don't care who you are, except for the bureaucrats, but anybody that's on Facebook has got to know that their privacy is like none.
Seriously, there's even fake anti-privacy stuff going around, like that thing about, you better take your picture off or Facebook can use it and give it out and everything. It's fake news, but still, it's extra warning that you can't trust the information that you share on there to be kept secret.
Can't.
The United States has now more millionaires than Sweden has people.
Really?
Yes.
Sweden has about 9 million people.
So if you like millionaires,
yeah, right.
if you like Sweden.
Well, I thought, as somebody who spent 8 months in Sweden, the population back then was the same as it was in Florida back then.
Oh, yeah.
Which is around 7 million. Now we are 22 million, and Sweden's gone all the way up to 8 million.
Right. So. Yeah. So,
which I think most of those are Muslims.
Oh, one more thing about Laughlin and her daughter, real quick. Did you know that they actually rigged a game show in favor of the daughter not too long ago, like a year or two ago?
No.
There was some game show that they had where she was supposed to play with this phone app, and it was a promotion for the phone app.
Okay.
And they had this whole live studio audience and broadcast and everything, and some other girl won, and they were like, "Oh, no. The producers run on stage and said, shut it all down. We're going to refilm this and only let her answer the questions, and you guys don't answer the right questions."
Oh,
so
my God.
The girl who actually won is kind of pissed.
I guess.
And so...
Holy smoke.
Yeah, but it just goes to show you they still do this kind of stuff even today.
Of course they do.
Well, of course they do. And remember the old quiz show debacle with all that? There was lawsuits and people went to freaking prison. Again, it's like, overkill, but everybody should recognize this.
I remember when I was growing up and had black and white TV, when the original one was I forget when they would hide in the little cave
Yeah.
cabins and answer
Yeah.
the question and everything. And then they made a movie about that.
Yeah.
But I was there.
Yeah, and like I don't think I ever watched one day of $25,000 Pyramid that I didn't think it was rigged in some way or not.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I figured they showed them the answers in advance back, give them a packet. These are the probable answers or something like that. I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. So, and then my final thing is Tesla introduces the Model Y.
Okay, is that the $35,000 one?
I don't know, but why would you call it the Y?
Yeah.
That has got to be the worst name. I mean, Jesus, it's horrible.
What's your car? I got a Y.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
What?
the Model
Why?
F might be worse.
Yeah, yeah, right.
But the Y? Ugh, God, why? All right, that's all I got.
Okay, we're done.
So,
We're running a little.
yeah,
of course, we
wait.
started a little late. That's okay. We started a little late, so we're running a little late.
That's it. Way over. So,
Well, we'll be back on Wednesday.
yes, we will at 4 o'clock on Wednesday. Hey, Gene. Hey, Tommy. How are you, sir? Hey, hope you guys had a good time. We did, and so feel free to share, of course.
And it'll be on what? YouTube? You're going to put it up there with this timestamp?
Yep, time stamped on YouTube right away. These tracks are from Kevin MacLeod. Thank you, Kevin, for helping us out with this stuff. We really appreciate your free music. Let's see. Oh, and this, just in case you have some extra spare Bitcoin or Ethereum laying around, feel free to pass it over to us using these QR codes. We appreciate it. So, this show brought to you by Migaloo Underwater Submarines, which engineer Eric really loves. So, even though they don't pay us, we're going to advertise for them anyway.
Well, no. It's, of course, if you write, I did show this one time. We've got our brand new Jimmy Doan cards.
Yeah.
That there's the Jimmy Doan card that for a suitable donation we'll send you one of these.
That's right.
You just have to send us more than 49 cents because that's the stamp.
I'm Counselor Curtis. This is the Jimmy Doan Show, has been the Jimmy Doan Show. We thank you, and we'll see you soon.
Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.